Right now at 5, a helicopter carrying a Missouri State Parks team crashes into a frozen river.
And we are cold out there, cloudy through the day, maybe some flurries again. And we have cold weather advisories making a return. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a ministry in Carthage is providing essential resources for neighbors facing difficult times.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is finally Friday. Made it through this week. Some schools I know, not as many, but some are out again today. So five days. We talked about it a week ago today. We're like, you folks at home need to be prepared, especially for some of these rural districts, to be out for an extended period because we haven't been warm enough to do any significant melting. We've got some melting done, but just not enough.
And I know some of what melted yesterday refroze overnight because I know it was on my side streets, and I'm like, this is a ice rink right now. Let me be very careful.
So that's going to be the other big issue is like we mentioned in Joplin, the neighborhood streets, some of them are still somewhat covered, but it was softer, and you had some slush. Well, that slush is frozen now, and where you get those mountains of slush where it piles up from tire tracks, you're talking now you're running over bricks because they have refrozen out there. So you've got to be cautious again this morning because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold for a few days, and then we'll finally start to warm up. But first, we got to get through the cold days, and they begin right now, and we will start right now with a look outside in downtown Pittsburgh, where, again, looks pretty good. And again, on some of the main roads, they should be fine if they've been clear. But what you still want to watch out for is those areas where maybe some side streets, neighborhood streets aren't clear, and that snow's been drug out into those outside lanes, because that's what's going to refreeze, and that's what's going to lead to a clear roadway, and then you'll hit a patch of slick stuff because it's a neighborhood street. Cars have drugged some snow out, and it's made it quite cold. All right, our camera 7th range line, the Westco camera 7th and range line, you can see some clouds because there's the moon, and it's illuminating some clouds out there. Heading over to the KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh, 69-400, looking north along 69, and see it's those shiny spots, and then this business here. Yesterday would have been slushy. You could have gone through it okay. Now it's going to be refrozen. You see this turn lane right here? See where that melted out there? Now it's all shiny and dark. Yeah, that's going to be the spots you're going to have to watch out for because that's going to be what's refrozen across the area. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin looking good. And here's the deal. Any snow we have left is going to be with us for the next few days. Cold weather advisories for most of the region until at least Sunday at noon. Some of these will expire a little earlier on Sunday, but we're looking at wind chills once again, 10, 15 degrees below zero tonight into the weekend. We're at 19 in Joplin, 18 in Pittsburgh, and around the region a little cooler off to the north and east. So we're at 14 in Stockton. So we've got teens, and then down to the southwest, just a pinch warmer, low 20s out there. And you factor in our breeze this morning, which is starting to already pick up. Wind chills into the single digits off to our east here, and then some off to the west. Most of these wind chills into the teens, all of us getting cold and staying that way today. Clouds increasing into the afternoon. Could get some flurries really anywhere from noon to 6. Future track where it's showing snow on there, it's just saying that's a slightly better chance of seeing a flurry out west versus anybody else. But thankfully, at least that's not going to add up to anything. So those kids, again, still going to school today. We got 15 out the door. We're talking low mid-20s by lunch, mid-20s as you head home. And again, a few stray flurries out there under mostly cloudy skies. We're into the upper teens by 9. Again, mid-20s for those highs, down to low 20s by 6. North winds gusting to 20, bringing our wind chills down overnight tonight into Saturday. It's going to be cold through the weekend, and then a warm-up is still on the way. At least there's some good news on the other side of this. Break it all down for you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks. A helicopter crashes into the Merrimack River, carrying a Missouri State Parks team. According to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, the team was conducting an aerial ecological survey of the Merrimack State Park when the aircraft may have struck a power line. All those aboard the helicopter were rescued from the river and are under medical care. The chopper apparently sank into the icy river, and park rangers are on site assisting. A funeral in Ferguson, Missouri, meant to be a private, solemn event, turned turned chaotic when gunfire erupted inside. The city's police chief said over 30 evidence markers were at the scene, with multiple people, including 3 from gunshots, 2 by flying glass, and 1 hit by a car in the frantic rush to leave. Police have detained multiple persons of interest and recovered firearms.
Less than 2 minutes, we had the first officer arrived on the scene. He immediately called out for an officer in need of aid. It's complete chaos. We had hundreds of individuals attending this funeral, numerous individuals obviously running in different directions.
For West, who has spent more than 60 years in funeral service, the lack of respect for the grieving process is what stings the most. Well, wrong-way driver near Carthage travels 7.5 miles before finally crashing. Authorities received the report late Wednesday night. When they arrived on scene, they found an SUV in a ditch near mile marker 58 and just north of 2 semis pulled into the shoulder. Troopers believe the SUV struck a guardrail, then sideswiped one of the semis. The second semi struck road debris. The driver of the SUV, David McKinney of Carthage, was not injured. He was arrested and cited for felony DWI and driving the wrong direction on a divided highway. Well, weeks after Adam Bizzari's death, his family are still struggling to process what happened. The 18-year-old Girard High School football player was shot and killed on January 9th. Police say allegedly by a friend. One of Adam's closest friends was there with him and says the loss is even harder knowing they knew the alleged shooter. Well, for more than 4 decades, the Carthage Crosslines Ministry has served as a lifeline for residents of eastern Jasper County, providing essential resources to neighbors facing difficult times. KOAM's Ty Parks shows us how the organization is making a difference.
For over 40 years, Carthage Crosslines Ministry has been a good neighbor to eastern Jasper County. Executive Director Tony Smith brings a personal understanding to her role.
It's so near and dear to my heart. I have 2 college degrees. I'm a cosmetologist. I'm a master gardener. And I went through a terrible divorce and became homeless. And so it can happen to anyone. For me, with the help of a lot of other people helping me get back on my feet and that believed in me, I was able to become the director here. While that's much harder climb for many of our neighbors.
Some people can come in and get food, clothing, and hygiene products. The ministry serves a diverse population that extends beyond traditional assumptions about who might need assistance. Smith emphasizes that clients represent all segments of the community.
Those that are in need are always, there's always going to be those that are in need. And so how do we help that? And we're not talking just about able-bodied people that can go to work. We're talking about your grandma, someone that goes to church with you, your neighbor, people with disabilities, single mothers with children that have part-time jobs that need a little additional help. And so we try to cover all of those bases.
The organization recognizes that financial hardship can affect anyone. Carthage Crosslines currently seeks volunteers to help with their operations. The ministry also looks for contractors and service providers who might offer discounted rates for necessary work.
Help us out. It doesn't have to be for free, but if maybe you could give us a cut rate price with your labor, the labor alone, we know that almost always doubles everything. And so that could help us dramatically.
In Carthage, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, lawmakers reach a deal to avoid a government shutdown, but one major agency gets separate treatment. Plus, a popular YouTube creator makes the jump to feature films with an unusual underwater thriller. And temperatures are taking a dip as we head into the weekend. Chris has a look at your forecast. Watching the KOAM Morning News, we'll be right back. Popular YouTube streamer Markiplier is releasing a movie. Rick Damagello reports.
I see that question in your eyes.
Iron Lung is about a convict welded in a submarine dropped into an ocean of blood after the universe has ended.
Iron Lung is an adaptation of the indie video game of the same name. The film was made, financed, and distributed by YouTube personality Markiplier.
Basically, I wanted to make a feature. I knew that I wanted to do that. I had made a few YouTube originals, and they were really a lot of fun. Like, I've been doing YouTube for a long time and doing various things on YouTube. But I knew that to take the next step in my artistic journey, there had to be something that felt more official than a YouTube-related project.
You did test this thing, right?
This is the test.
The story involving a submarine descending into an ocean of blood meant the filmmaker needed to get creative, using a NACMO motion base for the sub's set.
And as soon as I heard about it, I was like, that's instantly what I would like. And I know it's expensive, but to have that through the whole production means that we can have the flexibility to do all of these realistic in that I am really getting thrown around in there moves. You know, we get to feel the ocean.
All we have are surface scans. That's why you're there.
Caroline Kaplan co-stars in the film.
Because she and Mark's character are isolated from one another, the experience of being in the same building but not being able to see him helped me act it, because I was trying to reach him in the same way she would be.
There aren't enough of us left to be throwing lives away, but there is too much at stake not to take calculated risks.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, it certainly sounds like an interesting project. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Again, a very cold start to the day, a very cold day ahead of us, even colder into the weekend with cold weather advisories rather in place. We're over the details with you when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Just about 5:21 now on this Friday morning, and these are back. Not our favorite thing, but they are back. Cold weather advisories. Oklahoma, Arkansas, they run through noon on Saturday. At this point, everyone else runs through 10 a.m. Not Saturday, I'm sorry. It's woke up. You ever have that time, you know, no matter how much good sleep you get, you're still really tired? That's where I'm at this morning. Okay. Let's try again. Oklahoma, Arkansas, through Sunday at noon. Everyone else through Sunday at 10 a.m. That's because our wind chills starting tonight are going to start dropping back into that 5 to 15 degree below zero range. So we're back to some dangerous cold out there. It's why we have cold weather advisories. Clouds increasing through the morning into the afternoon. Everybody, like yesterday, will have an opportunity to see some flurries. They're not going to add up to anything. Future track showing snow out there. That is just future track. As you can see, it doesn't look impressive, saying you have a slightly better chance of seeing flurries or even a brief round of light snow. But again, no accumulations expected out of any of this activity. We'll have skies clear out late tonight, very early tomorrow morning, and we'll briefly have some clear skies to start our Saturday. However, clouds by the afternoon will make a return, and we'll start to go mostly cloudy to straight up cloudy late Saturday into Sunday. And as you see, if you look on future track, you'll see those little snow thingies flare up here and there. That's just, again, some flurry chances, and it's simply indicating that there might be slightly better ones in those areas. And then we'll start to clear out again as we go into Sunday afternoon and evening eventually. And here's the next big change, and this is what's going to be the nice help here. Southwest winds picking up on Sunday, and that's going to start bringing in some warmer air finally to the area. As for today, not warm at all, not warm in the slightest. Mid-teens to start, and we'll go about the low 20s by 11 a.m. And again, clouds gradually increasing across the area. Again, a few flurries possible. Not going to add up to much, but it's a possibility. We're only going to make about the mid-20s for our highs. North winds gusting to 20, keeping our wind chills at about 5 to 10 above zero throughout the day. Then overnight tonight is where we get the cold weather advisories. Those wind chills drop because our lows drop. I mean, look at these numbers. We don't want to, but there they are. Like I said, I'm just the messenger here. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Our lows about 1. So what that means, of course, Highway 54 corridor, usually much colder than everyone else. So you're probably dropping below zero tonight. North winds gusting to 25. That's where our wind chills get into that 10 to 15 degree below zero range. Now, the other issue we have, though, with this temperature drop is, again, we haven't lost all the snow. There's still plenty of it out there. It's not going to be lost this weekend. But the melting that's taken place, things are refreezing. And what the bigger concern is, at least what I ran into, is, slushy areas where the road's kind of clear and you get those little piles of slush. Well, those have frozen. Those are hard now. And if you hit them at speed, it's going to be a problem. You're running over bricks basically in the road, so you've got to be cautious. Then outside of that, where the melting has taken place, you're going to get a bit of a glaze of ice here and there. So again, it's not something this weekend where you shouldn't travel. It's just you need to be cautious if you are. But with these temperatures, 19 on Saturday, you probably don't want to travel or be out at all. Back down to 8 Saturday night. We start warming up a bit Sunday, and then look at next week. Man, we still got those rain chances Tuesday, Wednesday. Temperatures into the 40s. Getting close to 60 by next weekend. So the snow will definitely be gone by then. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Men tend to develop heart disease 10 years earlier than women. That's according to a study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association that shows that the heart health gender gap has existed for decades and still continues today. Researchers say patients should be assessed for heart attack risk in young adulthood so prevention strategies can be implemented. Well, more and more people are turning to medical marijuana for pain control. As Stephanie Stahl tells us, it's becoming a popular alternative to opioids.
So the front of this can gets numb.
After breaking her back falling on black ice, 75-year-old Sharon Garcia suffers with chronic pain.
It's just debilitating. It's a constant. It's like somebody's like a knot in my back.
She's among a growing number of people finding pain relief with medical marijuana.
CBD has helped me mostly with sleep.
Her doctor, Ari Grice, is the director of the medical cannabis department at the Rothman Orthopedic Institute.
For a lot of people, they can use small amounts of cannabis on a long-term basis without it affecting their body in other bad ways.
He says cannabis use is becoming a popular alternative to opioids, which can be addictive.
We're moving away from opioids, especially for treating chronic pain conditions. And when you take these powerful medications away from patients who are suffering on a daily basis, you have to offer them something else.
He says cannabis can be as effective as opioids for pain control with fewer side effects.
Small dosages of THC, oftentimes combined with other cannabinoids, can alleviate symptoms without causing intoxication.
The cannabis that Dr. Grice recommends comes in a variety of forms, including pills, edibles, and topical lotions. But doctors don't write prescriptions for it, just offer recommendations because it's legal in some states, but not federally.
And patients, through kind of trial and error, figure out what the right dose is for them and what gives them the most benefit.
Hoping to alleviate the guessing game, Rothman is researching patients using cannabis to determine which products are most effective. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, Joplin voters will decide on police and fire funding this April.
And it is very cold out there this morning. It's going to be very cold into the weekend with cold weather advisories in place. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
At Greenbush, high school students get an introduction to crime scene investigation. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll have more on that coming up.
4 States' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Friday, January the 30th, isn't it? It is the 30th. We're almost done with this month, and you know,
one more day.
One more day.
One day more, as they say in Les Mis.
Oh, okay, fine. One day more, whatever. Either way, that's nice. We're almost done.
We had the Friday giggles.
Oh my gosh! Well, here's
and
the deal.
That's the mood you have to go into.
You really do. I'm very tired this morning, man. You know, I slept well and everything. Just really tired this morning, but it happens, and it's been a long week. I think for everybody, it has been a very long week for many folks, and it's going to be cold again this weekend. And I know that stinks, but there is a silver lining to these clouds as we roll into next week, so that's definitely some good news. Let's start with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh. There it is. And see, the good news is I got a great team here on the KOAM Morning News that if for any reason in my half-awake state I forget what we're doing, they'll be able to guide me to where we're going. But we are starting here. And you see the snow that remains, which, by the way, there's plenty of it. It's not going anywhere this weekend. We're going to still stick with it a few days. The other concern we have is going to be with refreezing. As we talked about those, and I'll show you in a minute, there's actually a KDOT camera I can give you a better example of. Westco camera, 7th and range line. You can see the moon barely there. This is why I wanted to show you. So you see this stuff in the middle of the road? It was slushy stuff. Well, now it's refrozen. So concern number one is some of it where it's kind of piled up a little thicker, maybe not here specifically, but we're talking, you're like running over bricks at this point because it has refrozen. The other issue is where it's melted. You see here in that left turn lane, that's black ice. And that's going to cause issues as well. So even on roads that are mostly clear or like 99% clear, you're going to run into some issues. So you do want to be cautious this morning and into the weekend. Watch out for those slick spots. MoDOT camera 20th in range line, looking good. Cold weather advisories. This is a nice shade of blue. It's just, man, they picked blue. I love the color blue and many shades of it, but blue is also representative of a lot of winter things too. And so it sometimes is bad news. These cold weather advisories starting today into Sunday, will be for wind chills 10-15 degrees below zero starting tonight through the weekend. We're at 19 in Joplin, 18 in Pittsburgh. Quick look at those temperatures. Colder off to our north and east, so we're colder. Stockton's at 14. That's our cold spot. We do have some teens and low 20s. You get a little further south and west, slightly warmer, low 20s out there. Then we factor in the breeze, which is starting to pick up and will continue to do so. We do have some single-digit wind chills out there. I mean, I guess we're above zero, but still, I mean, 4 in Greenfield. It's not like that makes a lot of difference from zero. So make sure you're bundling up, making sure the kids are bundled up, those that are heading back to school. I know there's still a few schools that are closed today, especially in those rural areas where those back roads, we just haven't done that much melting this week. All right, clouds increase through the day. Flurry chances anywhere in the area where Future Track is showing actual snow is just its indication that it's a slightly better chance for flurries in those areas, or maybe even a brief period of light snow, but no accumulations here. For the kids who are heading back to school, mid-teens out the door, mid-20s by lunch and recess, and as you head home. So again, just make sure they're bundled up and staying safe out there. We'll be into the upper teens by 9. Again, our highs today, best we're going to do is about the mid-20s. We'll have some flurry chances from about noon to 6, and those north winds gusting to 20, keeping our wind chills through the day at about 5 to 10 above zero. So it gets really cold tonight into the weekend, and then Sunday starts a nice transition to considerably warmer temperatures. We'll go over those details in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Joplin voters decide April 7th whether to continue a half-cent sales tax for public safety. City officials say the funding is crucial to retain police officers and firefighters who are leaving for higher-paying departments. The measure would replace the current Prop B tax when it expires in 2027, keeping tax rates the same. Well, more than 100 high school students throughout southeast Kansas get a chance to learn how crime scene investigations work. KOAM's Kenny Foreman shows us how the Greenbush Education Center in Girard is opening their eyes to future possibilities.
I thought the blood splatter was pretty cool, learning about how they actually learn about it or learn about their suspect, what he does, and the footprints were pretty cool. I like the stuff they use in order to make that happen.
Whether it was hearing from industry professionals, chatting with college recruiters, or viewing demonstrations from MSSU criminal justice students, the Greenbush Education Center made sure there was something for everyone.
Hands-on is necessary for learning. It keeps them engaged and also gives them real-life experience. All of the kids here today are juniors and seniors in high school, so they're deciding what they want to do for the rest of their lives or for college.
Throughout the day, the students got to take part in several hands-on activities, such as foot impressions.
We learn from each other. I know I learn from them. It's a great experience for them to see different things in CSI that I didn't know once I got into the program, but I like it and I'm glad to teach to other students too.
Of course, it's not unusual for high schoolers to be unsure of what they want to study in college or pursue for a career, but the center hopes many leave feeling inspired to at least consider paths in law enforcement and forensics.
I hope they have an excitement for learning, if nothing else, and I hope that they had a good day and kind of learn behind the scenes of what happens at a crime scene. But hopefully today some kids will decide if this is the career path for them or not. And today I hope that they also start thinking about that future and that next step.
In Girard, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Artificial intelligence catches return scammers red-handed. And a major electric vehicle maker announces a dramatic shift in production strategy. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, Tesla is betting big on robo-taxis and robots. During an investor call Wednesday, CEO Elon Musk said the EV maker will shut down production of its Model S and Model X vehicles in its Fremont, California facility to make Optimus robots there instead. The move comes after Tesla reported a sharp earnings drop last year, despite beating expectations in the fourth quarter. Well, it's the season of returns as consumers take back what they don't want after a busy holiday season. But it's also a time when return fraud spikes. CBS's Christian Lazar went to a return warehouse to find out how one company is using AI to spot fraudulent packages.
At the Happy Returns warehouse in Santa Clarita, they process millions of returns annually. And with that kind of volume, fraud has come to be expected.
And this year, the number was as high as it's ever been. 1 in 9 returns, retailers estimate are fraudulent.
Which is why Happy Returns has launched its own AI fraud detection technology called Return Vision. Each item that passes through its warehouse is given a fraud risk score.
You can almost think about it like a credit score, right? Have you ever been late paying a bill? If there's ever been fraud associated with your email address or your physical address, that can trigger a high risk score.
If an item is flagged, then it goes to a secondary screening.
We are looking at our fraud station.
Kayla Hunter, senior product manager, showed us 2 items that were not what they seemed. The first, a pair of designer jeans. To the naked eye, they looked just like the photo of the item on the retailer's website. But when AI analyzed the jeans,
we try to get everything in frame. Details really matter.
It found that the jeans sent back were not the same item that was purchased for $298.
So in a case like this, probably what happened is they purchased something much cheaper, put that in the bag, and kept the more expensive denim.
Yes.
Another suspected fraudulent item, this orange sweater. Again, it looks very similar to the item originally purchased.
So we'll take a photo of the front.
But AI picked up on the difference in color and the pattern of the knit, determining that this too was fraud. We actually found the sweater that was likely purchased by the fraudster, and it was $36.99, far less expensive than the $200 one the customer was claiming to return. Happy Returns will now withhold the refund and send the item back to the retailer.
And then that shopper will be red flagged.
Yes.
In Los Angeles, Christine Lazar, CBS News.
And while the retailers pay the price for these fraudulent returns, so do consumers. Happy Returns says close to 3 out of 4 of its retailers are now charging for returns. That's it for Consumer Watch. And now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Again, it looks all right outside. Still got some snow, and any snow that's still out there is going to be hanging with us through the weekend as we remain very cold with cold weather advisories in place. We're going to break it all down for you when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, bitter cold couldn't stop Joplin community members from gathering at 4th and Main to honor those killed during recent ICE enforcement operations. The vigil remembered 37-year-old Alex Preddy, an intensive care nurse, Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother, and Keith Porter, Jr., a 43-year-old father of 2, all shot by federal agents this month. Advocates for the under-resourced organized the event, bringing together community members who say they want accountability for the deadly shootings.
Going into cities and just randomly ruining people's lives without knowing anything about them is wrong. It's so wrong, and it's not law enforcement. It's not any kind of legal enforcement. It's an invasion of everybody's rights.
The vigil comes as the federal agents involved in the shootings have been placed on administrative leave and calls for changes in immigration enforcement operations.
And we've got a very cold start to the day ahead of a very cold day out there. Mid-teens to start, low 20s by 11, clouds gradually increasing. And between about noon and 6, we could see some flurries really just about anywhere, maybe even a brief period of light snow in our far western counties. Not going to add up to anything, but it's a possibility. We're only into the mid-20s today, and those north winds gusting to 20 are going to keep our wind chills about 5 to 10 above zero throughout the day. Into the evening, still mostly cloudy, mid-teens by 10, down to about 1 for the low, and our wind chills tonight 15 degrees below zero, 10, 15 below zero, with those north winds gusting to 25. That's why we have cold weather advisories that take effect later today and run through at least Sunday at noon. Because of how cold it's going to be. So how cold is it going to be tomorrow? Even colder than today. Only about the upper teens, about 8 for Saturday night. We're going to go mid-30s though Sunday. Winds shift out of the south and eventually out of the southwest, a bit breezy, but bringing in some warmer air, low 20s for Sunday night. And then take a look at next week. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. In fact, going a bit above average. We've got some 40s, maybe even getting close to 60 by next weekend, with a few rain chances Tuesday into Wednesday morning. That is a check of your forecast. Another hour of the KOAM Morning News up next.